Garrett Muntz. Oh, and Fat Mascara listeners, welcome to me. I just welcomed you to me instead of them to Fat Mascara. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
It's Jenn and Garrett.
We're here.
We are preparing you now. This is going to be a whirlwind of an episode.
Oh, yeah. We're in moods today.
We're in such moods. The news is slightly dystopian. We're both it's the end of the week. We're recording this at the end of the week. You guys know we record a little bit early. There's lots of news. It's busyness. It's busy. Also, Garrett, you haven't been on the show in a minute. I know we had our Captain Planet episode last week, which was so much fun, by the way.
So much fun. It was the most fun I've had in a really long time, honestly.
I have to tell the listeners from there, the group chat that we have going, the four of us, it's lit with joy.
Oh, yeah. It's like a love fest all the time.
It's so good. I almost want to bring that group chat to the listeners, but the tech of it all, I don't need a Discord. Do I need another platform to check?
Add it to the list.
Don't know. Add it to the list. But before that, I hadn't seen you in forever because I know you and your family went on the trip of a lifetime. You went on safari.
We did. We went on safari to Zambia for 2 weeks at the beginning of September.
Welcome home. Welcome home.
Thank you,
everyone.
It was so incredible. I have to say, I had been on safari before in South Africa a couple years ago. And when I came back, I called my dad and my brother and I was like, you guys would love Africa so much, we have to go. So we made it happen. I mean, it took 2 years of planning, but we were there. It was my brother, his wife, my dad, his current wife, me and my husband, and it was so much fun. Safaris are like the best trips ever.
For a certain kind of person, because I've also explained an animal viewing and wildlife viewing trip to some of my friends, and they're like, that sounds like my personal home. You're bumping around in a car, you're sleeping in a tent. Well, I don't do a safari. It wasn't a luxury.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
some people do not like the outdoors. I know you know that, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I would definitely not say that we were camping the way you did. I mean, we did do a couple bush camps, which is the camps in the bush, right? So
where they set it up for you and it's like...
Yeah, we'll say it was more of a glamping situation than anything else.
I'd expect nothing less for you.
I'm not a camper. I mean, I grew up camping, and as an adult, I'm like, I have done enough camping for my entire lifetime. I never need to do that again. But we had a mix of luxury resort type vibes plus more rustic vibes. We went to 4 different locations around Zambia. So that was really interesting to see. We started in Victoria Falls area and did the falls. We did the Devil's Pool.
More importantly, what was the best animal you saw?
Well, here's the thing that I loved so much is that I learned that Zambia used to have such a terrible poaching problem. And in the last 10 years, they've really worked really hard to get it down and really control that. So there's so many babies. We saw so many baby animals because now they're able to grow up.
Did you see a baby hippo?
No. Actually, we saw a lot of hippos, probably some babies. No babies, however, as cute and crazy as my current obsession, Moo Deng.
You're on the Moo Deng train.
I'm on the live stream right now. It's open in a separate window. I mean, she's sleeping because it's dark there. I'm so obsessed with that hippo.
Okay, I might have been late to the Moo Deng party. What is it now? It's been 3 or 4 weeks since this made global virality, right?
I think so. I mean, it's been it might have happened when I was in Africa, so I probably didn't know the genesis.
And this is not an African hippo. This is an Asian pygmy
She's a
hippo,
pygmy.
right?
And I learned recently that one of the good things about her viral sensation is that it's raising awareness for the pygmy hippo because they're endangered. And there's only 3,000 pygmy hippos in the world.
Oh, wow. Well, then they should stop throwing things at her.
I know. Well, that's really upsetting. But part of what's cool on the live stream that just started, I think, this week, is that you can also donate to the zoo to help.
Wait, do you really keep the live stream cam up?
I mean, I just found it today, so I have had it up open all day long.
By the way, for anyone who's under a rock and doesn't know about it's Moo, Moodeng is the name of the hippo. And yes, the world's obsessed with her because she's She's all of us, isn't she?
Her rage and her uncontrolled zest for life and chaos is something that I really
She's
admire.
a little chaos agent.
She's such a little chaos agent. She reminds me of one of my dogs so much, actually, which is part of what I love about her. But I'm just so obsessed with her whole vibe. She's so crazy.
She's like, y'all brought me into this world and I'm just gonna, and then now you want me to do stuff? It's all of us on a Friday afternoon. We're like, don't make me do a thing. I don't need another deadline. I want to go play in the sprinkler and squeal.
Yeah, I want to bite people. I want to eat some delicious vegetables and just cause some chaos. I also learned today, I went on a deep dive today, actually. She has 2 siblings. Did you know this?
Oh, wow. This is a celebrity story in the making because what is the family dynamic now that Moo is like the famous one?
Well, this is the thing. The dynamic is actually very funny because it's very similar to humans, at least the families that I know. So she has an older sister named Moo Wan, who's this very sweet, kind of docile one. Oh. And then they have a older brother named Moo something. I forgot his name. But he protects them from monkeys and stuff that enter their habitat. There's video of him chasing a monkey away from his sisters.
This is the traditional older, middle, younger dynamic.
Yeah. And of course, Moo Deng is the youngest and she's the crazy one.
Yeah. As always is in families.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
She's so cute.
I have spent so much time looking at videos of this hippo.
It's what we need right now in the world. I am just warning everybody, our news has some darkness in it, but Moo makes us happy. Also, to tie it to beauty, I know we skimmed over your trip. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you had fun. Moo Deng's fabulous. But did you know baby hippo blush is trending right now?
Oh, yeah. I saw, I think it started with Sephora Thailand, right? They did something in their circular.
Yes. Oh, is in their circular?
Yeah.
How old are we? In their catalog, in their news catalog.
Well, I'm sure it's the digital circular these days.
I love the word circular.
But
I love that you just said circular. The blushes you can use to get Moo Deng inspired facial look and blushes, and all these content creators online are sort of recreating her adorable pinky peach cheeks. But you know what's funny to me? Okay, you know how the glass skin trend was hot forever?
Totally.
I really thought the very dewy, very glazed skin was sort of fading because I was seeing all these powders. And here comes Moo.
I mean, she is glistening. She looks moist and glassy all the time. I mean, she looks great. So it is very funny that people are kind of reviving the glass skin thing because of this hippo.
Well, she can't be constantly wet. Every video you see, she might not even be near water and she still has a dewy, delicious, she just has that. Wait, this goes back to the radiant versus illuminating conversation we had last week.
But she's both.
She is both. Thank you. She is both radiant and illuminating. Or radiant and illuminated?
Well, I also feel like it's funny because her name means bouncy pork.
So
her skin is bouncy we all want our skin to be.
Bouncy baby piglet pink.
I saw this one video. I'll have to send it to you later. This makeup artist, May Pang. Do you know her?
I might know the video you're talking about. What do they do?
She does an editorialized makeup look.
But it's pretty, right? With the gray.
It looks beautiful. Yeah. A gray lip.
People are so creative.
I was like, wow, okay. I could see that in a magazine, actually.
I also just love that we're taking inspiration from not the usual sources.
Totally.
This is right up my alley. Animal inspiration? Yes, please.
All day. I love animals so much. It's I think that they're so beautiful. The amount of beautiful colors in birds that we saw in Africa was so wild. I was like, this color scheme is amazing.
Do I have another birder joining the fold?
I wouldn't go that far yet. However, I was very impressed by some of the color combinations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Spoken like someone who might become an adopter. We'll see. You get the bug in you. I don't know.
I know it is true. I did meet a guy who had been to Africa 77 times. And he...
To all different countries.
All different countries. And he is a huge birder. And I think he had seen over 900 types of birds there. It was wild.
It was definitely part of the reason I got into it. Wow. When Jess isn't here, I just make it about birding and you indulge me. But it is about beauty. We should get to the news. Let's take a quick break and then we'll get into it. Okay, so I want to talk about the new movie, The Substance.
Oh, yeah.
With Demi Moore, but I don't have the stomach to actually watch it.
Same.
So for people who don't know, this is a body horror, which is like this whole genre of movie, which I didn't know it had a name until I was reading about The Substance. But movies like The Fly, like something happens to your body and you can't control it, and that is the horrifying thing. The reason this is pertinent to fat mascara and beauty culture is because it's all about beauty culture.
Well, because it's about, she is an actress, right? That is like an aging actress, takes in a substance that literally makes her into a younger person, like a different person.
But the concept in there, the cell replication, how many serums have you written about that are cell proliferation, speeding up the cell recovery process, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah.
I was like, this is not that much of a stretch.
No, it's not. And I think that that's what's so fascinating about that movie specifically, is that it really does. I mean, body horror is a larger genre, but this movie really addresses things that we talk about every single day as beauty editors.
And things that, like, I always thought were particular to our area, like my beat, what I focused my career on, what I studied. Clearly, the listeners who listen to this are interested in that as well. But this is like the larger public is now focused on the things we write about and the things we do, often with like a negative spin. Like, I love the mainstream journalism writing about this that are like appalled by this. And I'm like, where have you been? Plastic surgery has gotten crazy in the last couple of years.
Totally. And it's not even that new in movies either. Like, there was that movie Mother a while ago.
Remind me.
It was about a child who's, I also never saw it because it's too like,
I don't like
it's too close
movies.
to home. If I remember, I mean, any listener who's seen it is gonna be like, you don't know what you're talking about. But it's like, I remember the trailer where it's like a kid in a house and the mother, his whole face and body was wrapped. She had just gotten plastic surgery. And it was like, is that really his mother or is it a different person? Like this whole kind of scary thing.
Yeah.
And then there's also that Almodovar movie with Antonio Banderas, which name now I'm like forgetting, but he played a like plastic surgeon.
We all warned you, by the way. We warned you we were not in tip-top form today. So I think everybody can go ahead and Google that without you.
I do think it's really funny that unlike a movie like Devil Wears Prada, right, which is an iconic skewering of the fashion world, beauty movies and TV shows tend to have a horror bent to them. There's also that movie Old that came out, or Age, maybe, about the people on the beach who get trapped there. And then there's that Nicole Kidman series, Nine Perfect Strangers, about the wellness retreat.
Which, weirdly, I remember watching that and thinking, like, I've literally been to this spa.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think about every time that I go on, like,
to visit a new spa.
Yeah. It's like...
Do you think, bringing it back even further, like Mommy Dearest. Okay, that's not like a horror movie, right? But they use a woman and her looks as like a metaphor for like either falling apart. Yeah, as your body falls apart, you're mentally falling apart. I guess it's not just beauty culture. That's just a standard fare.
But think about the scene where she's chopping the rose bushes and she has the mask on.
Yes, that's what I'm picturing. Because
Yeah.
in my head, I was like, wait, is that a horror movie? I was like, no, it's not. I mean, it's a psychological. It's a thrill. No.
It's kind of, I mean, it's based on a real memoir.
Right. It's not a horror.
It's not a nice movie. It's not a silly, funny, it's campy, but it's not a comedy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. This movie, The Substance, is a satire, right, at its heart. But like, God damn, I am not going to watch that. I just can't. I feel like I would have nightmares for days.
Well, you know, when you brought it up about talking about this, I was thinking about what Jess said last week when we were talking about Botox and how we were talking about kind of how we, as beauty editors, we think this stuff is super common because we're bombarded with it all day long. Whereas the average person, like, I think it was you that said probably less people than we realize have gotten Botox.
Oh, I just saw a study, and it was 1% of Americans have ever tried a neuromodulator, which means they might have even just gotten it once and then they don't get it anymore.
Totally. So I think that these movies really speak to kind of our cultural fascination, but also fear of these treatments and these things that we can do to our bodies. And because oftentimes you don't hear a lot about these things unless they go wrong.
On that note, did you plan that segue? Because, guys, we totally didn't plan that. And this is no laughing matter. These stories come up again and again, but last week, multiple people were texting me this story that in Britain, a 34-year-old woman, she died from, at first, as I was like, okay, a Brazilian butt lift, which we have spoken about on this podcast, is one of the most dangerous cosmetic surgeries. Just to refresh people's memory, it's something like 1 in 3,000 to 1 in 5,000% death from this surgery, right? Which is high. If someone told you, oh, you have a 1 in 3,000 chance of dying if you do X, and it's like some entertainment activity, like skydiving doesn't even have that chance of death.
And it's not even other side effects, it's actual death.
Right, it's crazy. And that is the surgical procedure of a Brazilian butt lift, which is, of course, when the doctor does liposuction, takes that fat and grafts it or injects it with cannulas into the butt to like reshape it. However, she didn't even have that. She had a liquid Brazilian butt lift, which is taking a filler off label and injecting it, like normally those are used for lips or nasolabial fats or maybe your face or wherever, and injecting it in your butt. And this woman, I think she was 34, I said, mother of 5, she died. She died.
I mean, I think the article said she was the first person in the UK to have died from it.
The first with the liquid butt lift. I have to say also, because these liquid butt lifts are there's very few seasoned board certified doctors that are doing this, because this also has risk. The reason it has risk, by the way, is because you've got lots of blood vessels in your tush, right?
Yeah.
They drain into like the vena cava, which is like the biggest vein, which goes directly back to your heart and everything. If, for example, some of your own fat is injected accidentally into a blood vessel, or a filler, that could cause issues. But then there's also the issue of these fillers. If you're going to a med spa, they're putting a lot of filler in there. And the cost of that, if it was the actual cosmetic, like the drug, would be high. A lot of them are using black market fillers. Ugh. And so there's a chance of sepsis, injection. And then this woman I read about this woman that went to a hotel to get it. Actually, we do know where she got it. We believe she got it at a Studio 23. This is what's being reported as of the recording. Studio 23 clinic, co-run by, and this is so interesting, Jordan Park, who I recognized his face when I saw him. He's known as the Pout King. He's like one of these self-styled cosmetic surgery consultants.
Oh.
So no medical background, but gets on social media and helps explain procedures to people and what can be done, gets thousands and thousands of dollars of work done on himself, but he's apparently a financial partner in the particular clinic where this woman went for her liquid butt lift. So there have been arrests already.
Oh, wow.
In conjunction. That's the news that's coming in. And by the time you're listening to this, I'm not sure where we'll be with the story because it's breaking now. 2 arrests in conjunction with the death because, again, we see like a lot of these clinics, not all of them, but like don't have the medical personnel on staff that are meant to be there in case of complications.
Right. I mean, we've talked about that before. It's like the importance of knowing, of researching where you're going, right? Who's doing the procedure for anything, but much less such a risky one. Also, I think that really speaks to this culture that we have of like the social mediaization of aesthetic procedures and how it really minimizes the risk that's involved with anything.
Yeah.
Any procedure carries risk, no matter what, right?
And a lot of the people that were talking to me about this story were judging her for her choice. She's a mother of 5. What's she doing? Spending money on this, et cetera. And I keep thinking back to when we had, I don't know if you listened to this episode, we had Ellen Atlanta on. She's an author who talks about beauty culture and social media and what it does to girls. And she had a lot to talk about like the socioeconomic differences in the looks that people are after and what they need or want to do well in their career and things like that. And also sometimes different socioeconomic levels, a different look is the one that is gratified, that gets you where you need to go. It's that whole Love Island aesthetic, right?
Right.
And so I'm not judging her choice that she felt she wanted to get this A because she just wanted to look different, or B, perhaps she was in a job where this might have benefited her. I know that's crazy to think about, but like certain jobs, your tips might go up if you have a particular look.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we should ever judge someone for how they want to look, right?
Yeah.
In terms of like, not just procedure-wise, but for a haircut, for their makeup, for their clothes, anything. I mean, we all kind of self-style, right? In order to present the way that we want to the world. And if how you want to present yourself and how you see yourself involves getting plastic surgery, that's totally fine. I think it's more about researching and the actual providers that are doing this, because the providers are the ones, like in this case, it sounds like, are preying on that.
Yeah. Because especially if you're not doing it the way that a board-certified surgeon or a real medical clinic would do it, you're causing risk. You know what else I keep thinking about before we move on is this thing I saw. A teacher was teaching her class about just manners and things like that. And she said, if there's something about a person's appearance that they can't change in 30 seconds, then you don't talk about it. And I was like, yeah, how do you explain this to a kid why something is good manners and something is not? And I was like, wow, she just fully simplified this.
Totally.
Spinach in your teeth? Sure. Go ahead and tell them. They can floss it out. Boogie on their nose? Maybe their hair is messed up in the back and you want to point it out, or the shirt's torn, or maybe their toilet paper sticking out of it, whatever it is. 30 seconds and they can fix it or change it. Whether or not they want to, maybe they don't want to. It's okay to talk about. But if it's anything that's not that, just don't talk about people's bodies and faces.
I'm always like so
except
shocked.
On our podcast.
I'm always like so shocked though how comfortable people are talking about someone's body.
I literally at every family function now, I have to say, I'm not going to comment on that person's appearance. I'm not, which is funny because I think people might think, oh, aren't you the beauty podcaster? Like, this is literally your job. And I was like, no, my job is to help us sort through all this new stuff and why it's confusing and why you don't have to or might want to. But like, no. Oh, so-and-so lost weight. Great. You don't need to point it out to them. I'm sure they knew they lost weight.
Right.
And I know people think they're being nice, but
I know that's one of the frustrating parts. I mean, I was a fat kid growing up, and I have had a lot of body issues throughout my life, whether it's being overweight or really severely underweight or whatever, like you name it, I probably had it or gone through it. And so my entire life, relatives, friends' parents, strangers would comment on my body all the time, and it's super traumatizing. And the only reason that I think that my parents stopped was from all of the issues that I had and learning how it affected me through therapy and stuff.
It's just the fact that you're talking about my appearance before anything else.
Right. It also makes me think, last year I went on this Unilever trip and they had just announced the partnership with Nike that Dove was doing. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it was training for coaches, because I guess the stats were like, by the age of 14, over half of girls drop out of sports. And a big part of that is because of their bodies and how they view their own bodies. And what really surprised me and what I thought was really interesting was that they were really focused on how they train coaches who coach that age group of girl. And a big part of that training was to not talk about how the body looks, but what it does. So to say like, wow, you look so powerful. Like, you look so strong. That was a really strong thing that you did. Instead of being like, wow, you look great today. Or like, you look really skinny today. You know, things like that. It's like, and how just that little change, I thought about it and I was like, if someone had done that to me when I was a kid, it would have changed a lot.
Yeah. Just being like, how does your body feel? What can it do for you? Rather than just what it looks like today.
Totally. I think it's such an important, very, very, very small change that we can all make.
Yeah, it's not just with kids. I'm sort of like, I came to this a little bit later than I think. I'm sure I was guilty of this for a long, long time, talking about appearances. I still do. I'm like, oh, you look so cute. Like before I say anything else to people, it's a learning process. So I'm like trying to be more conscious about it.
It is. And I don't hate to like admit this because I'll kind of talk about anything, but I've gone through a lot of changes in my body recently, and you do get kind of conditioned after you've heard people say like, wow, you look so great for a long time. And then you see someone and they don't say it. You're kind of like,
I wanted to bring this up, but I didn't want to say. So you as someone who had been on the receiving end of the negative, I was just thinking about, actually this plays into something else I want to talk about with these GLP-1, with the Ozempic and all of that. I now have so many friends who are on these drugs and losing weight rapidly.
yeah.
And one of them said to me, like, do you notice anything different? Like, I could tell they wanted that recognition, but I'm on this kick of not talking about people's bodies or appearances.
Totally.
So, yeah, what's that like for you if you don't get that? How do you pick and choose?
I think I try not to think about it because I am very much into right now as a 40-year-old person, I'm finally at that point where I'm like, I want my body to look the way that I want it to look. I don't care what other people think that I should look like or not. Like, this is how I want to look, and I will work to be not only healthier, but I want to become the person that I see myself, right?
Yeah.
So that's a really big change. But I will say that hearing compliments like that is addicting. So I'm sure that your friend has been hearing that from so many people and really enjoys that. I mean, it does feel good to hear someone say like, wow, you look so great, or wow, you're so pretty, or you look great, you've lost so much weight, you look awesome. Like it's not a bad thing.
Can I be catty for a second?
Yes, of course.
Well, now we're just talking about it, so let's just talk about it. You didn't do anything to achieve this. That's the other thing. Like sometimes when people are going to the gym and getting strong, or they ran a marathon and yes, their body might have changed in the process, or they're like dieting. I hate dieting, but if they had to change the way they eat and they're happy with how that's changed their body, I would want to congratulate them if they were proud of it. But like with these drugs, I'm like, congrats that you have the money to pay for a thing that a lot of people need and can't pay for, A, and B, you kind of didn't really need that bad. Yeah. Like these weren't, I don't think, but again, I don't know people's medical histories, morbidly obese people, you know what I mean? That had health problems because, well, one of them did have high numbers, but like.
I mean, I think.
Am I being a bitch?
No, I mean, I do think that a lot of the people, I mean, I'm a fan of GLP-1s because I do think that any tool that we have to make people healthier and look better, or look the way that they want to look.
Feel better,
look better, be healthier. That is a good thing, right? I think that is a great thing as long as it's safe. We're not talking about dying from a procedure here. But I do think that like everything, people will abuse it. And so I think that there are plenty of people out there. I know many people personally that have really benefited from these drugs because they were obese or because they had diabetes or whatever. But there is also, of course, always going to be that person who truly did not need it and just wants to lose 20 pounds and whatever.
And then's like, have you noticed a difference?
Right. Don't I look great? It's like,
sure. Congrats on using that drug. Like, we don't know why you look like that.
I think it muddies the waters because there is, these drugs do benefit a lot of people.
Yes. Well, you know what doesn't, though, that I do want to talk about? These supplements now that are coming out. There a couple weeks ago, Lemmy, which is one of the Kardashian sisters, which one?
Kourtney.
Thank you. Kourtney's line of supplements came out with a supplement she literally gave the name GLP-1. Like the marketing prowess, the darkness in this. It's basically a quote-unquote weight management supplement. It's a diet pill by another name. There's no speed in it or anything, but it's a couple raw materials that have a clinical of like maybe helping metabolism or whatever it is. But I feel like it's preying on people who don't have a doctor to get the actual drugs, don't have the money to get the actual drugs, don't have health insurance, that
Right.
Google or search in TikTok GLP-1, and they're like, oh, I can get these like $30 supplements instead.
100%. I think that really blew my mind when that came out. And she's not the only
Just
one.
how blatant.
Yeah. Well, it's like the fact that she was even allowed to call it GLP-1 without having any GLP-1s in there, first of all, really speaks to what's wrong with the supplement industry in general. But then it's like, you're like, this is complete snake oil because GLP-1s are peptides.
Well, think about it, though. The names that have all been used by the drug companies, the brand names are trademarked. The actual drug names are the full name written out. They couldn't do that. So technically and legally, this is a workaround. But it's so gross.
It's so gross. And I think you hit it right on like the head that it's really taking advantage of people that want to use these drugs because they've heard maybe celebrities like the Kardashians have tried them, but they can't afford it or whatever. They don't need it or they can't get a prescription or whatever. But they still want to do it. It's just going to disappoint people. Like these supplements are not going to do anything for you.
Well, here's another one that just came out yesterday, October 1st. This one is called Replenza. This is a supplement, right? So this one's being marketed as GLP-1 support. So I've heard this from one of my friends who's on, I think she's on Ozempic. She might be on the other one, Wegovy, is it? Whatever it is. She's on an actual GLP-1. This is for the side effects people are experiencing when they take GLP-1s. So it is supposed to help with muscle recovery, digestive health, and skin elasticity. So, right? Tell me what you think.
That's so interesting because I know from a lot of plastic surgeons and dermatologists that I've been hearing from the last year or two, they notice a noticeable difference in people's skin who are on these for a long time. Right, but it's not just the sagging, it looks like it has the look and the texture of like a stretched out rubber band.
Yeah, it's almost like that story. It was like maybe 2 years ago at this point in the New York Times about Ozempic face, which we've all always heard when you lose weight, you look older because you don't have that plump, juicy fat. But this is what I've noticed. That sort of happened to my friend, but that's not that bad. It's more like because you're not having enough of those good health. I don't know medically, but you know how like good healthy fats, they make your skin and hair shiny. And if someone's not well or sick or having nutrition issues, they just look like lackluster.
Yeah, they look sallow.
I feel like the people who are taking these, their calorie intake lowers because they can't eat as much food, especially not the richer, fattier foods that have all those good fats like salmon. How many times have we heard like how good salmon is for your skin? Totally. But it is. I feel like literally when I eat anything with the good fat, not like the stuff I'd rather eat, but like, the good fats, you just feel like, okay, I'm glowing.
Well, I think it also is really interesting. I'm not opposed to this kind of supplement because I do think that one of the other issues, the GLP-1s come with a lot of issues, not just side effects from the drug,
but like lung.
Yeah, well, there's that. But I know also like a lot of doctors have been saying that they've noticed that their patients that are on GLP-1s, they lose a lot of muscle mass. And if you're talking about from a health longevity point of view, muscle mass is really important.
Yeah, you don't want to lose that. You want to lose the bad fat that's raising your LDL and all that stuff. No, the LDL is the good one. Sorry. Again,
LDL,
not a doctor.
HDL. But
thank you.
The problem is that when you're using these drugs and you're just not eating as much, it's not like you can just target, like that's not the way these work. Like you're just reducing your calories drastically. So you're just losing weight all over. You're not targeting fat. You're not preserving muscle. It's just like complete. I'm curious about where I'm sure we'll see more of these supplements come out as people do more research in terms of the long-term, not side effects of the drug, but of this kind of drastic weight loss. Because, I mean, for me, it's like I think the muscle mass part, not just because I want to be a bodybuilder, but it's just because it's like, in general, from a health point of view, you need muscle mass.
Of course. It helps with bone density. It helps with as you get older, like all those things,
well, also,
like joints.
Yeah. I mean, all of it.
And it also keeps off the bad fat. So like if you're losing the good muscle in the process of losing the bad fat, are you then setting yourself up for long-term problems? And I think that you're right. We're going to see more of these like support tools. But again, I wonder if people searching around And this one's really clearly marketed to users. But the fact that what percentage of Americans are now on GLP-1s, there's a supplement made just for them, speaks to how popular these drugs are.
Absolutely. I think that they're way bigger than we even think that they are.
I need to get numbers on. Here I am with my Botox numbers, 1% of Americans. Guys, I might amend this after I do the research when we're done recording because I didn't know this is where our discussion will go if I can get numbers on what percentage. Because again, it feels like because it's celebrities and like a thing that we write about, it feels like everyone's on them.
Oh, totally.
Hey, everybody. Future Jen jumping in here. So just for some data, a KFF health tracking poll in 2024 has it at about 1 in 8 or 12% of American adults have ever taken a GLP-1. So that's definitely higher than the number of adults that have tried a neuromodulator like Botox. However, I misspoke when I said that the research study found 1% of Americans had tried Botox. That was also a poll, and it was a super small sample from a marketing company, so I don't think that's super accurate. A better estimate is probably based on the 2023 plastic surgery statistics report from the American Society of Plastic Surgeons. They reported about 4.7 million cosmetic botulinum toxin procedures in 2023. And if we pretend each of those is a different person, which it might not be, that would be 1.7% of adults. I know some people get Botox more than once a year, so let's say like 1.5% of adults. So 1.5% of American adults have tried Botox, and it's estimated 12% of American adults have ever taken a GLP-1. Okay, back to our unhinged recording and the last news item. And guys, I had planned, well, if I say it, then everybody's like, why didn't you do it? I had planned Glossier, the other big news this week. Let's just pivot to this, whatever. It's a hard pivot. I don't have a nice, smooth segue like I usually do. But Glossier came out with 2 new fragrances. I don't know. Did you hear about them, Garrett?
Oh, did I ever? I have to say, I was not invited to the event, and I am a little bit bitter about that, even though I was out of town, so I couldn't have gone anyway. It's such a beauty editor problem to do, of such FOMO.
You're not allowed to be bitter if you quit. You just wanted to have been invited?
I would like an invite. I mean, I also realize that I and my audience are not the target market for Glossier fragrances. However,
you are a Fat Mascara contributor, and they are very much the target audience.
And I also think that, I featured Glossier before. It's not like it's not a completely female company. There's some cool products for guys in there.
Hear that, Emily, Kyle? Who else runs
Hello.
Glossier? Well, I will tell you, I was invited. I did not go. But I did get one of those little lock boxes, which I also thought was like a very interesting marketing seeding move. Like everybody gets a mailing that's an influencer and a beauty editor, and you've seen them all, and they put like a lock on theirs.
I saw that.
You can't open this till the day the new fragrances come out, which me, of course, I was like, Jen, don't do it. I could have ripped that box so easily. Like it was so easy to get into without having the code. I will be honest though, I often know what's going on before the embargo lifts. So like I knew what the 2 new fragrances were before I was allowed to talk about it. However, just before the podcast, I put in the code on the padlock and I have the new Glossier fragrances. And on purpose, I did not smell them because I was going to have first impressions with you.
All right,
Now I feel like an asshole, though, because I'm like, damn it, I should have gotten a set of these for Garrett so he could also be
No,
selling.
it's fine. It's fine.
So let's do Glossier You Do first. A serene, woody blend that is a balance of you. They're not getting rid of the Glossier You. These are just like spins on it.
Is it DEW?
It's DOUX, which I believe means...
like 2.
Does it? I thought that was DEUX. I thought do was like wash. Wow. Our French continues to be horrible. People, every time anything French comes up on the podcast, I get messages later about how I just pulverize the pronunciation. I'm so sorry.
French is not my strong suit either.
So. Well, so Emily likened these two. If Glossier, so vodka. She was like, Glossier You was the martini. Well, but now you've got an espresso martini and a lychee martini. Just trying to be the heart of the fragrance that we all know and love, Glossier You, is still in there. Okay, so this is Dew, and I totally see what she's saying because it has that skin you but better, like warm laundry vibes underneath.
Ooh.
But is there Palo Santo in this? Oh man, I am good. Heart of Palo Santo. It smells like
there we go.
You know why? When I have a scent memory that's stuck with like a place I've been, it's just in my head. And this smells like a spa in Mexico that I went to. where they were burning Palo Santo.
I love Palo Santo so much.
Just sprayed it. Just sprayed
Oh my God. That's going on the social media video.
Glossier, you do is not. Make sure the spray is facing the right direction, guys, when you tire these. Okay, sorry. That's lovely. It's really warm and creamy and expensive smelling, but I'm getting like a woody Palo Santo.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, you know how some of the woody scents can be very woody?
Yeah.
This is like a creamy woody. It's very nice. Okay, the next one, which I will spray away from my face. We warned you, by the way. Whoever's listening right now is like,
Like,
what the hell is going on over there?
This is off the rails.
We warned you. Okay, this is Glossier You Rêve. How's Rêve? How's that for French? Rêve. A lush, dreamy gourmand that is a rush of you. The little wording that goes beneath it is caught in a fever dream, sticky sweet longing, ripe with the wild. That just sounds like a haiku. But okay, here we go. Ooh.
Oh.
I'm surprised I like this. I thought it was going to be a fruity gourmand. Again, it is fruity and it smells like, I saw a picture of a cherry, so I'm guessing there's cherry, but maybe that's what's influencing me, but it's sticky.
Oh, like juicy?
Like, yeah, well, juicy, but not fresh juicy. It's like the chocolate covered cherries where it's like that syrup that's inside the cherry.
Yeah. Ooh,
By the way, my grandma used to eat those and like, they remind me of her so much. I can picture her long fingernails picking up a chocolate covered cherry.
That's so sweet.
No chocolate though, but that syrup.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
Oh, no cherry. I was wrong. Top note buttercream. Heart plum butter. Plum butter.
Plum butter.
First of all, by the way, do people know that the perfumers have nothing to do with the notes that you see on the packaging or in the marketing materials or on the website description? Do people know that?
I don't know. Explain.
Well, they come up with these afterwards. Like I remember talking to a perfumer about that and he was like, I could give you the chemical names of everything in there and none of them are plum butter, obviously. But they won't just say it is a plum note, whether synthetic or naturally derived, though I don't even know if you can get the smell out of a plum. It's probably a synthetic. Afterwards, the marketing team comes up with a chord name for it or even the note name because you want it to be evocative. And if you just sometimes when you just put the pure ingredient name, there's nothing evocative about that.
Right. It's not sexy.
Right. So they took whatever molecules were making a creamy plum and decided to call it plum butter. Oh my God, it woke Wolfgang up.
Wolfgang's like, I like that too.
No, he likes his Dolce & Gabbana.
Fefe.
Fefe.
I was using Fefe on my dogs the other day. They love it.
Oh, you ended up getting some?
Oh yeah, they loved it.
Another animal lover was like, I can't believe you put that on your dog. And I was like, no, he wasn't bothered in the least.
My girls, and because they have fur, it makes their fur feel really soft.
Oh, it has like a soft, yeah, I think there was like an oil in it or something with that water base. Like it's conditioning almost.
Yeah. It makes their fur feel really good.
Yeah.
And they don't mind that at all.
That's good to know. And it had been veterinarian tested. Glossier used 2 new fragrances, however, are not veterinarian tested because they don't need to be. And I like that they're not super duper expensive like the original Glossier U. I got to live with these a little before I decide if any of them are going to be me. And I do wear Glossier U, the original. Like it's definitely in the mix for me.
They both sound really nice. I like that they sound different enough from the original. I mean, sometimes I feel like flankers either go too far or they're like too close.
Excellent point. And I think these are exactly what you want from that. Like the idea of the creamy skinness of it all is still there in both of them, but with like a little departure.
Right. That sounds great. I mean, I'm a fan of you also. I don't wear it personally, but I think it's a wonderful fragrance. Isn't it Frank Vogel that made it?
And these as well.
Oh, nice.
And I think he's a genius, first of all. And every time I've talked to him, I've been like, you're dreamy. Your brain is dreamy. He just thinks about the world in a way that a lot of perfumers do that's just like gets you excited.
Yeah. I could talk to him forever.
Yeah, right?
He's the smartest guy. I love him.
Anyway, good job, Frankie.
Good job, Frank. Good job, Emily.
Well, that was the news. Wow, we did the gamut. We went from body horror to body commentary to GLPs to glossy perfumes. This is Fat Mascara. We love you. We're taking a quick break. We'll be back. Yes, I'm here still in my cloud of Glossier.
Is it like inside your nose?
You do and Rev.
How do they smell together?
Well, I'll say this, Do and Rev are like all around me right now, and they work fine together. Not an issue at all. Do, by the way, D-O-U-X means soft or sweet. So it's, yeah, for all our French listeners who probably were like, Jen, it means this. Okay, that's not why we're here. We're here to raise wands, aren't we?
Sure are.
Okay, so we have a listener. Actually, listener, you did not leave your name. However, I'm a good reporter, and I looked up your phone number. I didn't find your name. No, but from your area code, I believe you're from Chicago. And then there was a baby in the background, I think I heard. So anyway, here's our listener who I think watches or has babies and lives in Chicago. Take it away, listener.
Hi, Jess and Jen. This message is particularly for Jen. I recently read your piece in The Cut about the best and worst celebrity beauty brands and was really shocked that no one mentioned Victoria Beckham Beauty, because I am such an avid fan of that line. Specifically, her Kajal eyeliner is amazing. It is the creamiest eyeliner I've ever used. I know you all have mentioned it before on a previous episode. And then she has this sort of bitten lip tint. I'd have to look at the exact name, but it's amazing. It dries down, not matte, but just kind of like your lips but better, which I feel like is kind of the best category of lip product. And then I don't have a full bottle of any of them, but felt it was worth mentioning. She did recently come up with fragrance. She has 3, Portofino 97, Sweet 302, and then another one that's a yellow bottle. And they smell absolutely amazing. The samples are really impressive, and I definitely think I'm going to need to get my hands on a full bottle too.
Excellent message. Good point. I had an oversight on Victoria Beckham when I did my piece for The Cut on celebrity beauty lines. Actually, a lot of people have been asking me, like, why don't you cover this or that? It was more like if like more than 10 people said a similar thing about a particular line, I was like, this is what people are feeling, so I'll include it. Whereas like one-off mentions of great products, I'm like, okay. Yeah. But I'm glad that this listener brought it to my attention because you're right. The Victoria Beckham makeup is great. Jess loves the Kajal liner she mentioned. And the lip tint is called the Bitten lip tint. And actually, I put it on yesterday. So raise a wand, I double it.
Ooh.
Yes. Okay, so Garrett, we didn't raise wands last week. So you have one. It's all yours. Take it away. What do you want to raise a wand to?
I don't know if you know this about me, but I am super fussy about my laundry.
Something about Garrett, guys, is that he's super fussy.
Surprising. And I am one of those very, very lucky New Yorkers that has an in-unit washer dryer. So I do my laundry not only pretty much constantly, but like a crazy person. And I love nothing more than like a super fancy detergent.
Everything you just said I'm on board with. Keep going.
It just makes me so happy. And I got this new one that I am completely obsessed with. It's called the Laundress Beauty Sleep.
When the Laundress disappeared for a little while, they were fixing their manufacturing issues. I was like, where did they go? Because I love their detergents.
I love it so much. And they've done great collab. I'm like a big fan of this brand, but this one is one of my favorites ever.
Okay, Beauty Sleep, what's going on? I don't know about this.
So it just came out. It's designed to wash your sheets and your pajamas in. And
why did they call up Fat Mascara for a collab? We tell everybody to get their Beauty Sleep.
How Fat Mascara is this? The scent is warm sandalwood, night blooming jasmine, and soothing lavender. And you can also get a linen spray in the same.
Which Garrett is holding up because he absolutely did get both. Okay, so you have your detergent and your linen spray.
Right. So if you want a little extra boost here and there, you can do the spray. I love this scent so much because for me, when I have a linen spray or whatever, it's too like floral for me. I'm not a really big fan of pure lavender or pure jasmine personally, but this with the sandalwood in it, it is so cozy and comfortable. And just, it actually smells like a scent that I would wear on my body. It's so nice and so luxe. Because it's, like you were saying, the kind of the creamy lavender or the creamy woods.
Yes, for the Glossier U.
Yeah, it's that vibe. It's not a harsh kind of smoky wood. It is so soothing and so wonderful. And I just think that it's such a good, not only is the scent beautiful, but just it's the first linen spray that I've had that I really can see myself using like every single day. Plus the detergent.
Their detergents are great. You're not going to get itchy always. The scent, like some of the really scented ones, then it's too scented and it never goes away. Like even Tide and Gain. I know a Gain household, the minute I walk in, it's a great smell, but everybody in that household smells like Gain. Whereas their scents like linger just as long as you'd want them to, if that makes sense.
Well, also it's like for your sheets, it's so nice because it's like you don't need them to fill the room. You want to have it close when you put your head on the pillow. You kind of get the waft, but you don't want it to be like...
No, you might never have listened to this episode. It is a long time ago, Fat Mascara, Jess and Jen favorite. We had on the guy that creates the fragrances for laundry detergent, Steve. I think his name was Steven. No,
I don't remember that. I need to go back and
I should do this as a replay soon because it's such a good episode because like that's his job.
Dream job.
You would love interviewing him.
I really would.
All right. I will send you a link, but I'll also put it in the show notes for everybody else who doesn't remember that episode because it was a great episode. But so raise a wand to the laundress, beauty sleep detergent, and...
Just also want to say, I know sometimes people have a hard time paying a lot for detergent because it seems so unnecessary. It's not super cheap. It's $45 for the set. So it's like 26.
But the thing is, with your sheets, I wash my sheets once a week. I don't know about you.
Same.
So like, that's going to last you because you only need a little cap full of laundress. Like, it's a concentrated.
Right. The other thing is that the bottle is like 16 ounces, but it's going to last you a long time because you don't even need to use all that much. It's not like a huge
Right. When I had
amount.
The laundress detergent, it was definitely like, I would use it for like special occasions.
Oh, yeah.
And why not? Don't we need the little indulgences?
We do, especially at nighttime. I mean, anything that's going to help you sleep better. Not to say that this will help you sleep, but it's like to get you
between
in that
this and your CPAP,
like,
man.
Woo, I am sleeping well.
They should put you in the ad for the laundress beauty.
Oh my God, totally with my CPAP mask on.
Your CPAP, your dogs, like everything. Okay. Sorry.
Anyway, raise a wand, the laundress beauty sleep detergent. I love it.
That's a good one. I feel badly because I'm raising a wand to something slightly complicated, and I don't know that I'm in the best mindset to explain it to people. And I'm usually really good about explaining science, I think. But here's what happened. So, you know the brand Color Science that makes the sun powder?
Yeah.
It's great. All the beauty artists love it. All the makeup artists love it. Just so you know, in my head, it's Color Science.
Because they have the E in there?
Because the first time I wrote about it, I forget what magazine I was at, maybe Health Magazine, I missed the E. And then the fact checker was like, there's an E in there. And I was like, convinced there was not. I was like, there's no way there's an E in the middle of that word. Come to learn, there absolutely is. And from then on, I say it in my Color Science every time I say it so that I spell it correctly. Anyway, back to the products. So they came out with this mascara. I got the product well before it launched. Actually, when I was talking to the brand about something else, and they had like a lab sample. And I was like, well, it's a mascara. I'm going to try it immediately, whatever it is. This was back in, I want to say June or July. And I used it right away because I'll try every mascara. And I was like, this is a great mascara. This is like a tubing mascara that also gives me volume and also gives me color and darkness, but doesn't smear or smudge. And I was like, look at Color Science making a mascara that I really like. And then I sort of set it aside because I was just like, it's just mascara, it's fine. But then maybe a month or two later, I was like, man, my lashes are looking good. I had run out at that point. So I'd been using it maybe 2 months. I use mascara kind of longer than you're supposed to. And I took a picture of myself, a selfie for something. And I was looking and I was like, I think my lashes are longer. You know, when you catch yourself when you don't expect it. And I was like, why would my lashes be longer right now? Like, I've done nothing differently in my life except use this new mascara. And then I was like, maybe I should go read the press release for this mascara. Come to find out, it is not just a mascara. It is like a lash enhancing. It's called Total Lash Mascara. Literally, its purpose is, and of course I should have known this because Color Science is all about, like, it's not just skincare, or it's not just the sunscreen. There's like skin benefits in there.
Right.
It's a non-prostaglandin lash boosting mascara.
Oh.
So prostaglandin, as you know, or bimatoprost was the original. It's like in Latisse is this ingredient that definitely works and definitely makes your lashes longer, but also can cause iris darkening and gives people irritation. Then there's these prostaglandin analogs that some brands use, but like people are like, they can make you itchy. I have friends even that are using non-prostaglandin analog ones that are like, my eyes are itchy, but I keep using the serum because I didn't even notice any of that. I was just using this thing like it was a great tubing mascara. And it also has an ingredient. It's actually called myristoyl pentapeptide 17, which is meant to grow your lashes. So after I did all this, I was like, maybe now I'll also open up the clinical results and then ask the ophthalmologist about it. This clinical study, it showed that people this isn't consumer perception, because we know sometimes consumer perception can be swayed. I'm the consumer. I think my lashes look longer. They had an investigator measure the lashes. I could show you the pictures. 24% longer after 3 months of use.
No way. That's a lot.
Yeah. On a lash it is. I think like in anything else, it's like a quarter longer. It came out to like a millimeter and whatever it was, noticeable. Right. And I can like attest it was noticeable, but I only used it 2 months and I think that I had it. So here's what I'm saying. I'm raising a wand to the Color Science Total Lash Mascara. The main reason being, first of all, it's not cheap. It's $59. However, when you think about that as I was going to spend X on a mascara plus X on a lash serum, like Grande Lash is like $68. You're getting both in one. And here's the best part. I'm not the kind of person who's going to put a lash serum on every day. I'm just not going to make an extra step. Also, I'm always like, when do you do it? Before the mascara? After the mascara? Do I put that on at night, but the mascara in the day? This doesn't change your habit at all. Like you're just putting on mascara and they're growing your lashes.
I love products that do two things at once.
It's like a thing you didn't even know you wanted and then you had it and it was amazing. Totally. So I'm raising a wand to this big time. I think I want to keep using it. I don't know how much longer the like lash lengthening will go.
Well, yeah, I'm also curious because it's like that kind of stuff. It's not indefinite, right? There's going to be like I'm
going to get to a certain. That was the thing about Latisse that weirded people out, though, because it kind of didn't stop. And then all of a sudden you look like Snuffleupagus because they were too long. I heard of people trimming their lashes when they were on.
I heard of that, too.
Yeah. So I'm assuming this is not that because this peptide's been around for like a little bit and been used. I think I'm just going to stick with the growth that I have. But it's enough that I think it's absolutely worth paying for this mascara. And again, I've seen other people try and do this. And then you're like, cool, it's a lash-enhancing mascara, but it smears everywhere.
Right.
So I almost said hats off, but that's not our franchise. Raise a wand. Raise a mascara wand. Where is it?
Wait, so I like that it's not just
Can you read what this says?
What does it say?
Lab sample. Just for proof that I do. Guess this is why I didn't know, because I just started using it. Story of a beauty editor's life. You just start putting things on.
Oh, yeah. Just start doing it. Don't even know what it is.
I'm so excited.
That's really cool. I love that. I love that you just thought it was a great mascara and then discovered the benefits later.
That's when I knew it was good, because like sometimes when you see the marketing or you met with more, so you're swayed. I knew there was no placebo effect in here. It was real, because like I was trying to find the cause of the longer lashes, and this is it. That stuff works.
I love that. I've used lash serums before just to try them out.
Did you have luck with any?
I tried Latisse. That's really the only one that I saw any difference with. It's more just my own curiosity. I don't really feel like I need longer lashes, although I do think that long lashes are really nice.
Yeah, again, I wouldn't have sought out a lash enhancer, but I know lots of people that do. So I wanted to share this with them because it's like, well.
Totally.
Yeah. And you can also get your lashes darkened in the process. I should stop talking. I feel like I'm unhinged this episode. Sorry to everybody who was like, what's up with Jen? I'm just, it's one of those days.
I don't think you're unhinged. We've had some great conversations.
We have. I've enjoyed it.
I have too.
I hope the listeners did.
I hope you guys have.
Get your beauty sleep. And by that, we do not mean your laundry detergent.
I'm just saying, you won't regret it. Get your beauty sleep.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
It's your reviews and feedback that help us make the podcast even better. Head over to iTunes to rate and review us, or email your thoughts to info@fatmascara.com.
We also want to answer your beauty questions and hear what products you love. To share a Raise a Wand product review or to ask a beauty question, email us at info@fatmascara.
If you send it as a voice memo file, we can even share your voice on the podcast. You can also do that by leaving us a voice message. Our phone number in the United States is 646-481-8182.
Thanks so much for listening.